Welcome. It's an absolute delight to have you back. The Minister for Energy and Green Transition has given the Electricity Company of Ghana 1 week to fix the overbilling concerns nationwide, while the ministry assures the government is taking decisive steps to end the persistent shortage of ECG meters and address overbilling concerns nationwide. Speaking at the commissioning of the MBH Meter Power Manufacturing Company, Deputy Minister for Energy Richard Jan Mensah acknowledged consumer frustrations over the difficulties in acquiring meters and faults that sometimes lead to overbilling and underbilling. While he noted that the Electricity Company of Ghana, ECG, and the Northern Electricity Distribution Company, NEDCO, have been directed to collaborate with key stakeholders to resolve these challenges and ensure reliable, accurate metering for consumers. Well, here is Richmond Roxon, I beg your pardon. He's a spokesperson for the Ministry for Energy and Green Transition, speaking on Newsnight about the ultimatum.
So the last couple of days, we've had a growing number of complaints from citizens and businesses that suddenly they feel that if they purchase what normally we call prepaid for our electricity, it doesn't last long. And that, for want of a better description, it runs faster than what it's supposed to be. And so the ministry, during one of the engagements with the power sector players, the minister brought the matter to light and directed ECG to investigate these complaints and furnish the ministry with a comprehensive report on these complaints. So ECG has to ascertain whether or not we have any faulty meters, whether or not there's any calibration issue with our meters, whether or not it's overbilling customers or is actually billing right. And once the minister receives the report, they will be guided on what the next steps will be.
And you've given them how many days to submit, to do the investigation and submit this report to you?
7 days.
7 days, you say. Have you received any response from the ECG, whether they can indeed conclude the investigation and submit the report within the stipulated time?
That's a directive by the minister who supervises the sector. And so once that directive has been given, the agency needs to comply. If they have any challenge, I'm sure that they can engage the minister on that. But looking at the nature of the issue and how sensitive it is, the minister believes that 7 days is appropriate to get a response from ECG.
So if this investigation finds irregularities or abnormalities, what remedies will be taken? Will customers be refunded?
There are a number of remedies available. And the minister did not mince words when he gave his directive that if there's any anomaly, consumers must be compensated. If there's any issue with the faulty meter, those meters must be replaced. If it means that people have to be refunded for money that they've paid, that will be done. If it also means that there should be any mechanism for compensation as recommended, that will also be done. And don't forget that beyond the minister giving this directive, you have the regulator who is also looking keenly on. So PURC is very much interested in what this directive is and what the results will be. And so once you find any anomaly, you should rest assured that the government will take action in collaboration with the regulator.
Well, also in Kumasi, the ECG has dismissed rumors that the Ashanti region is experiencing a return to Dumso, the colloquial term for persistent and scheduled power outages. The region has been experiencing intermittent power outages in the past days, adversely impacting domestic and also commercial consumers. The power situation has also affected the Ghana Water Company's ability to pump water from both Owabi and Barakese dams. But the Electricity Company of Ghana insists there is no load management or scheduled power shedding. There's more in the following report.
Speaking on behalf of all regional managers of the ECG in the Ashanti region after a technical meeting, General Manager for Ashanti East, Engineer Daniel Mensah Asare, admits some residents have been experiencing what he described as power interruptions. According to him, the interruptions are mainly due to isolated technical faults rather than a systemic shortage of power.
A big no. There's nothing like load management, load shedding, or what is popularly called doomsaw. No, there's no doomsaw in any part of the Ashanti region. There's no doomsaw in any part of Ghana. What is probably people are seeing a few outages. They are all as a result of faults that some of them are taking a little time for us to fix due to the nature of the fault. But I want to say emphatically that there is no doomsaw.
To tackle these technical challenges, Engineer Mensah Asare highlighted the reinforcement of a proactive maintenance program launched last year, dubbed Operation Keep the Light On. The initiative involves defect identification, where technicians patrol distribution lines that are 11 kV and 33 kV to find potential failure points before they cause an outage, and defect correction, which involves immediate repairs to remove hazards. In recent times, the program has been expanded to include the low-voltage networks that connect directly to individual residences.
But there's a program ongoing from last year that we call Operation Keep the Light On, which mandates us to go on our networks or our distribution lines, identify things that can possibly lead to an outage or can cause the light to go off. So we are doing what we call the defect identification, then we follow it up with defect correction. We've done that on majority of our distribution network or lines, 11 kV and 33 kV lines. We have now expanded it to cover every 11 kV and 33 kV network, and we are even extending it to our distribution network, that one we call the low voltage network, the one that is connecting to your houses, so that we send teams or we send our men, our technicians, our engineers to go on the line and see potential things that can cause the line to go off. Then we follow it up immediately to correct that defect.
It appears residents in Kumasi hit by water shortage will have to wait a little longer as ECG addresses the power concerns at the Barakasi Dam permanently. Engineer Mensah Asare is not sure when a project to provide reliable power supply to the Barakasi Dam could be completed.
Barakasi, there is an ongoing project there that is going to ensure that the water company gets enough power or a reliable power to pump water for all of us. And that we know, and we are working very hard on it to make sure that that problem is resolved. It will not be too long.
The general manager, however, has urged the public to stay informed through ECG's social media flyers and local radio announcements, which provide real-time updates and restoration timelines for any localized faults. From Kumasi, for JoyNews, JoyNews reporting.
From Kumasi, let me take you to Parliament. Now, as the Finance Committee considers a new government policy aimed at building substantial foreign reserves, sharp differences have emerged between the minority and majority side over the scope and ambition of the proposal. Yesterday, Finance Minister Dr. Casey Alato-Forson presented to Parliament a plan to accumulate reserves equivalent to up to 15 months of import cover. Well, the minority argues that this is not the first time a government has proposed leveraging the country's natural resources to shore up reserves. Here are Dr. Gideon Boakon and Dr. Kabiru Tiamahama, both NPP members of the Finance Committee, in this report.
One of the seasonal challenges with Ghana's economy is the managers' refusal or inability to build buffers during these sunny days for when the rains do come. This government says they want to chart a new path, and that is why they are seeking to get up to 15 months of import cover by 2028. The Finance Minister, Dr. Kasila Toforsen, has announced and put before Parliament this groundbreaking policy and is seeking the support of the House.
The current gross international reserves level is above the traditional reserve benchmark of 3 months of import cover. This is, however, not sufficient to provide adequate self-insurance against disruptive economic shocks and its impact on the exchange rate, like the historical depreciation of the currency in the year 2022 and 2023. To strengthen Ghana's resilience to economic shocks, Cabinet has approved the Ghana Accelerated National Reserve Accumulation Policy. The policy represents Ghana's strategic plan to strengthen external resilience by increasing the nation's international reserve equivalent of 15 months of import cover by end 2028.
The Finance Minister says both Gold Board and the Lands Ministry are supposed to purchase 3.02 ounces of gold every week. Here is how.
Ghana's strategy for the acquisition of 3 tons of gold per week is in 2 folds. The first is the Ghana Gold Board to acquire up to 2.4 tons of gold per week from artisanal small-scale mining sector. The Speaker, the Ministry of Finance will be making budgetary allocation to the Ghana Gold Board to achieve the objectives. The second, Mr. Speaker, the Ministry for Land and Natural Resources is to invoke the preemption right under Section 3D of the Ghana Gold Board Act 2025 Act 1140 and Section 7 of the Minerals and Mining Act 703 to purchase a minimum of 0.5 tons of gold per week from large-scale gold mines.
The Finance Ministry say they are very much clear with the risks that comes with this policy, and they have enacted certain safeguards to deal with these risks associated with this reserve accumulation policy.
Speaker, governance risk will be mitigated through independent audits and enhanced transparency. Environmental and social risk will be addressed through intensified enforcement of anti-illegal mining laws, targeted reclamation, alternative livelihood programs, and community engagement programs. Right Honourable Speaker, this structured approach aims to transform mining from a volatile revenue source into a stable, transparent, socially and environmentally responsible pillar for macroeconomic stability.
Even before Parliament will get into this policy and debate it, the members on both sides are actually speaking to this. The minority say this is not the first time such a reserve accumulation policy is being implemented.
We stress that the policy to accumulate gold to shore up our currency and provide other benefits to the economy is not the first time we are having such a policy. In fact,
the sin of selective amnesia, Mr. Speaker, that sin is so fatal that if you choose to give history of Eurobond issuance for a particular 8 years, losing sight of years before, it is the first sin that is going to spell the doom of this policy.
Well, the majority side say this is really forward-looking and shows a government that is willing to take a lot of these issues and deal decisively in building a strong economy.
At the time we were going to the IMF in 2022, Ghana's reserve could only support 0.8 months, less than 2 weeks of import cover. And yet somebody said he started gold purchase program.
Mr. Speaker, this has to go down as one of the most forward-looking economic policies envisaged by any government, because we do know that the Ghanaian economy for many decades prior to last year had been undermined significantly by challenges with the extent of our reserves and the implications that it has on the depreciation of our currencies.
The Finance Committee and the Economic Committee of Parliament is now seized with this matter. They will go into it, consider it, and present a report. The majority side expects a report as soon as Thursday, ahead of the State of the Nation address on Friday. The minority side, however, say this is too short a time. It is left to be seen if the Finance Committee and the Economic Committee can conclude this job and present a report on Thursday. Reporting for Joy News, Kwiku Asante, Parliament House, Accra.
Well, on Zoom now is Parliamentary Affairs correspondent Kweku Asante, who joins us more on this. Kweku, what does this mean for Ghana's economy? 15 months of import cover, what does it mean for the Ghanaian economy?
Well, the business guys and the economists will normally tell you that we've usually had 3 months of import cover. That means if you wanted to import anything abroad and you don't use Ghana cedi, you use Forex, you can import up to 3 months worth of goods. What has always happened with that traditional situation is that whenever there is a global shock, let's say commodities price fall, and you need to burn some of your foreign reserves, the dollars you've accumulated at the central bank to actually shore up your city or to protect it from sliding down, the government will burn through it, and then you are left with perhaps a week or two, which will ultimately mean that if you burn through it, you are unable to import anything. And we know that this country, we do not consume all the things we are able to produce locally, and we rely very heavily on exports and imports in particular, I should say. What this government is seeking to do is to have enough dollars at the Bank of Ghana that can buy all the things we import every year or every month for up to 15 months. And so if the government is able to do that, that, of course, like the finance minister says, is one of the single biggest accumulated reserves we've ever had in the country from the 3 months. So this is significant because then, ultimately, when gold prices fall, and the analysts will tell you that ultimately at some point gold prices will fall, just like cocoa in the past few weeks. When gold prices fall, and you already have a lot of dollars at the central bank because you've used your gold while the prices were up to show up, then you can protect your economy, you can protect your city in particular from slumping when the tides turn in these matters.
Now, we're hearing that gold board will also be key to this, achieving this 15-month import cover. How significant will the gold board be in this whole policy?
Well, according to the finance minister, there are 2 entities that are going to work on this and be buying the gold. There's gold board under the Gold Board Act. They're going to be buying a little more than 2 ounces of gold every week. There is also the lands ministry that is going to do what is called the preemptory rights. That is, whenever the large-scale mines actually take out the gold from our land, the government can, through the preemptory rights, actually buy some of the gold from them. And so the lands ministry will also buy some of them. And so it is Gold Board and lands ministry. These are the 2 institutions. Gold Board will be buying from small-scale artisanal miners, whilst the lands ministry will be buying from the large-scale miners.
All right, thank you, Kweku. Before you go, is there anything else happening in Parliament today?
Well, the State of the Nation address is tomorrow. The president is to brief the country on where the country is. This will be his second State of the Nation address since he returned to office in 2025. And so he's expected to brief the country. Proceedings is expected to begin any moment from now. Proceedings usually this term has begun at 2 p.m. But because of the State of the Nation address tomorrow, it will start at 10 o'clock a.m. So any moment from now, proceedings will begin. And we'll get to hear members of Parliament from both sides what they expect the president to talk about when he comes before them tomorrow.
All right, thank you so much, Kweku Asante. And that's Kweku Asante, our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent. Now, away from Parliament, some staff of the Drivers and Vehicle Licensing Authority, DVLA, are expected to travel overseas in the coming months to facilitate the registration and renewal of licenses of Ghanaian drivers in the diaspora. DVLA Chief Executive Julius Nikwe Kote disclosed that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has approved processes for the selected staff to be stationed in 5 countries in both Europe and America to offer the services. Speaking at the commissioning of a new DVLA office at Bantima in Kumasi, he disclosed the staff will be traveling to the United States, Canada, Netherlands, United Kingdom, and Germany.
Some of you, DVLA staff, you are traveling overseas to go and provide services in 5 countries outside the US, Canada, Netherlands, UK, and Germany. And I see you are smiling. I will add you, don't worry. So that is the service we are going to provide. We've gotten approval by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and this is what we are going to do for our Ghanaians staying abroad. They don't need to come down to come and renew their 1-year license which has expired. We'll be there and we'll be doing it for them. We'll provide all licensing issues over there for them without vehicle registration. Some of you, DVLA staff, you are traveling overseas to go and provide services in 5 countries outside the US, Canada, Netherlands, UK, and Germany. And I see you are smiling. I will add you, don't worry. So that is the service we are going to provide. We've gotten approval by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and this is what we are going to do for our Ghanaians staying abroad. They don't need to come down to come and renew their 1-year license which has expired. We'll be there and we'll be doing it for them. We'll provide all licensing issues over there for them without vehicle registration.
Emmanuel Bright Kweku joins me via Zoom with a statement from DVLA on what you just heard. Ima, looks like the DVLA has issued a statement contradicting what the boss clearly said. What's in there?
So, the statement, we had a statement from the DVLA just this morning, and they are clarifying, according to them, they are clarifying a misleading report in the headline. So it says that it has come to the attention of the management of the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority about a misleading news headline over the extended services of DVLA to selected foreign countries. According to them, the DVLA, through an arrangement with the Foreign Affairs Ministry, have agreed to collaborate with the Ghana's embassies across the globe to provide selected services, including international driver's permits and driver's license renewal to qualified Ghanaian citizens domiciled in other countries. The pilot phase will be undertaken in the United States of America, Canada, Germany, the Netherlands, and the High Commission of the United Kingdom. And as part of the implementation plan, the DVLA will provide training to embassy staff to do verification of documents and forward same to DVLA for processing. Once the processing is done, the authority will then return the processed documents to the various embassies for pickup by the applicants. This operation does not in any way mean that the DVLA would post its domestic staff to work at embassies in the aforementioned countries as the news headlines sought to portray. And they are wishing, or they wish to indicate, that the management of DVLA are committed to serving the interests of Ghanaians and has consistently pursued an agenda to place the services of the authority closer to the people to minimize default as well as promote compliance. And so that's the statement from the DVLA clarifying what they say is a misleading media headline.
All right, thank you, Emmanuel Bright Kweku, for that explanation. Let's head back to Accra. Traders at Makola No. 2 Market are staging a demonstration today to protest what they describe as exploitative rent increases and a 20% charge imposed on their businesses. The aggrieved traders say the rising costs are threatening their livelihoods and are calling for urgent government intervention. So as part of the protest, they'll present a petition to the office of the President, the Mayor of Accra, the Greater Accra Regional Minister, the Minister for Trade, the Minister for Local Government, and also other key authorities. Now, let's cross over to Makola, where Michelle Latte is on the beat for us. Michelle, what's happening over there? Michelle, are you there?
Here at Makola No. 2, where some traders are protesting, calling on government to come and intervene in their situation. They say that the market management, what they call the MMC, which is under SNIT, is charging exorbitant prices for their rents. Now they are saying also that a 20% VAT increment is being placed on them, which they are against. We have some of the leadership also meeting us here, addressing the media, telling us what exactly the situation is like. But we've been speaking to some traders and they've been telling us that the sanitation situation, for example, is one of the major issues for which they cannot agree to paying such large amounts now, because over the past years they've not seen any proper interventions from the management in relation to their sanitation situations. They mentioned that their rubbish dump here, they pay about 15 cedis for each pound of rubbish they bring in there, especially for the plantain traders, but they do not see any form of work on the side of management to ensure that they live in a very clean environment. I'm getting closer to one of the leaders leadership. Good morning, sir. Tell us your name.
Good morning. My name is Anthony Chibefi, and I'm one of the leaders here. The reason why we are gathered here is the untold hardship that we are facing here, and many things. Me pesa me chere se ye wo ha ye ni abre aho chere a ye wom na ye wo management be from MMC management company. They understand it. They have a board of directors. Now this year ye no mo hia fa ensem year ekoso rent ho ensem taxes come. We have something called common area maintenance that including electricity, water and security and the refuse, and so they separated rent from the camp, and both of them they increase the price every year. So you know much ya and we can say I feel yes and yama bafom you heard the inflation dollar and yama economy bibia no mo ba inflation kwosoro dollar kwosoro na de omoka yentimi nka bibia na omo de aso aye this your mba ne sir eniema mugina so beka sem we kire this time no you hwa grounds no enhold it adent na this year mo pese moto renting ya ka bia more than 3 meetings emfa na omo MD a friend Mr. Pia na ya na piem so bia emfa the okacha ya say aban this year aban am tax of 20%. It another the aban the aba and say omo so de maye na yetua na mesra bisa say wo ye company na ye ma tax wo de ni nyina ma tenant say ontua na ye ntia se ya kura maduru this level ne say omo e de ka omo ntimi ntua wo ho ne aloke wo de ko pa bisia na obetua. Can you believe so bit me point adwuma na wakọ nua ho say bom besia na me nkofie na me nisika me de fa ka akọ obeba na nkrofo ada ohwe container wa ha na de nyina aha sim bi akomienu ye ne ye ni nyina hye ho. This is part of the market. Part bi kura de first lady, former first lady Rebecca Akufuado ono be ye ebi mai o boss says no ye container hye ase na nyina mo take rent mutum ye kira mo say ye so ya bo akakra tika mo nhwe na this time around on consider na next year mpo aniama sesa moto adim yaka bia ensi edi agina ha ye sere aban say adeso no ye ntumi history no e petition no ye ntumi nkan nyina wa ha ye de bi beba after State of the nation, you know, you better notification. You better am a present petition. I'm a government. Yes, sir, you bar. Oh, mama, you pine. You president Saka. Now, what shall we do to mama? You need so bit here.
But how would you?
Anthony Chibefi.
Okay, so Anthony says that he's part of the leadership, and he says that the burden on the market women, especially for the traders here, is too much, and they are wishing that government would intervene in this particular situation. Let me get closer and speak to some of the traders who are here today. Most of them are cladded in red, of course, to show how much they are interested in pushing for their voices to be heard. Ma'am, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, and demonstration. Assemble na mode to government enim.
Assemble ye to government enim ni de. Ye rent na e high. Inti esra ban de ombra meboa ye. Omeboa ye na rent no want so do. Empo say entumentua rent ni the whole year. Na edikawa ekona ekotua. For instance, was 1 million out to do.
So that's an interest that is being placed on the amount you already have to pay.
Into yes, I bind it on Shamaye. On Shamaye, and even we have repa as some of
now, planting a dready for no one.
Aha, I may be a smart Tony.
Okay. Into shop now in Otia for a year.
Okay, but
let me get closer to other traders who tell me that they pay various prices. I mean, for those who have their shirts, umbrellas and all that, the umbrellas say they pay 5 cedis for a day. Some shop owners say they pay 2,500. I mean, the amounts vary depending on the kind of shop or store you have. Let me get closer. You see their placards, the messages they have on their placards. They'll say incompetent management. They say that this is not not just something that they want government to intervene in, but also the management, the MMC. They want the MMC to also come into the situation and help them. Let me get closer to more of the traders. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, madam.
So are you a trader here?
Yes, I am a trader here.
And what do you deal in?
I deal in beads.
Okay, and how is this situation affecting you?
It is affecting me. Now we are working for the MMC because when you work, you pay. We've never finished paying rent. All the time we pay rent. Excuses. Sometimes you pay, your balance has gone up. When you go, before there will be corrections. And they are using computers there. They tell you they are human. These mistakes has to come. But if you are not educated and if you don't see, you are going to pay. Now it is choking us. We can't.
Is it according to your agreement? I understand a lot of you have your agreements you signed before you got your shops. What exactly was on your agreement?
The agreement was they are going to increase yearly. But before then, there is an agreement between MMC and SNIT, which is 10 years, which we know it has elapsed. That 10 years contract, they didn't sit with us to tell us, oh, we've gone to renew this contract. And they are still handling it. Every year increment. This year we said we can't. And most of the times they bring inflation has gone up, inflation. This year they didn't bring inflation. They are telling us something else. Now they said government has given us 20% VAT and whatnot, which has increased. They have brought their increment and the government to increment it. So it is shocking. We can't. We've spoken to them as humans. This time we can't. They shouldn't increase the. And plus the market is not ongoing. We have only one entrance. All the entrances that you see, cars don't park. Only one entrance where car passes. And that place alone, you will spend like 30 minutes before you enter this market.
So does it mean that your work is not progressing here?
I'm telling you, most of the shops are closed now. Some of them are from Kasua. They will take 2 cars to come here. And some even borrow money to go back. Because when they come, they don't sell. The market is going. If it's ongoing and we are selling, we would pay. But it is dying, and we are telling them this year we can't. So they should. It is killing us. This year, at least they should let this year go. Maybe from next year, if things improve, we would pay. And they are telling us, come what? They are increasing. Government has brought VAT, so they
market for us.
They are not doing anything. They are taking maintenance fee. We are paying elevator. Excuse me, we are paying elevator fee. When you came, have you seen elevator? We are paying. What is it? Irrigation fee. They've never sprayed here before. When it rains here, mosquitoes. And the agreement. Water.
Always been beating.
Excuse me, toilets. Urine, it's among the distinct. Then when we go, we pay. We use the toilet, we pay. We use the bathrooms, we pay. Water, we pay. It is in the agreement.
Okay, so meaning that they are charging double.
They are charging us something that we are not doing. We don't have elevator here. We are paying for elevator maintenance. I have this thing. We can show you the documents. They've brought it. We are paying elevator maintenance, generator maintenance, which everybody has his meter.
Let me come to that.
Please do.
Hello, babe.
Your shop here.
Yes, please.
And what's the situation like for you? Some mentioned that when it rains, they have water rushing into their shops. Do you face the same situation?
My sister, my problem is that they should make the market popular for us. Okay. What we need is the market to sell your products so that we will also get something from it. You are making business. You don't want to invest into the business, but yet you want to take income from it. How does this work? My sister, how does this work? Does it even make sense at all? If you are making business, you invest into it. Make sure you put in something big, something that will make the market attractive. Let people come and buy from us. And whatever money you throw on the table, we are willing to take and pay. But here is the people are leaving the market on a daily basis. People are leaving. There are lots of the amount of shops here that have been closed is more than the ones we are opened. I'm telling you, you can even go around. It's already unfortunate that today we've all closed. You would have witnessed it for yourself. The market is totally closed. Everything is down. When you wake up in the morning and you come to the market, you can equally count the people who are passing through the market. I'm telling you, it is that bad. And this is our investment. We depend on this market to survive. We have family who depend on us. We have children we are taking care of. So if we don't make any income here, what are we doing? Then what we are selling, the little that we are making, you are trying to take it from us, sister. How does this work?
So if government doesn't intervene in this situation, what's the plan for you?
It is shocking. Let me tell you, Jem, we are being choked though. Jem, I told choke you. No come boy, I choke you. Come by me. Hey, this is not a matter of politics, oh. It is a matter of being father for all. There are members here who are NPPs. There are members here who are NDCs. But it is not a matter of politics. We are being choked. Step in, intervene. Be a father for all. We are being choked. We also have families. They have families. They are driving luxurious cars. We walk, we trek. But what we need is to create a very, very, very serene environment for all of us to be comfortable. That is what we need. We don't want anything extraordinary.
So you heard the voices
of... have gone to them with tears. They didn't care. So this is the only language we can speak to them that they will understand. We want Ghana to hear us, them to hear us. They should intervene.
So the traders happen to be clearly frustrated because of the situation they find on ground. But their leadership is doing well to go ahead with their petitions. They say they are going to present their petitions after the president presents the State of Nation address tomorrow. From there, they are expecting to present a petition to the office of the president, a petition to the Accra mayor, one to the Greater Accra regional minister, to the minister of local government, and the minister for trade and industry. Back to you in studio.
All right, thank you so much, Michelle Latier. Michelle will be following the story for us, and we'll bring you updates in our subsequent bulletins. But we take a break now on JoyNews Desk. We'll be back with more. Please stay with us. Welcome back. It's time for business, and Michelle joins me in the studio. Hi.
Hi, Puma. You're looking beautiful this morning.
Thank you.
Right, so let's get into our business stories.
Sure.
We have some stories on energy. And so the civil society organization in Ghana's energy sector are urging government to fast-track the second gas processing plant at Ituabo. They say the expansion is critical in stabilizing power and boosting domestic LPG supply. They visited the Ituabo gas process plant in the western region to familiarize themselves with the operations on site.
The call comes after a familiarization tour of the Ituabo gas processing plant by civil society groups, including Duncan Amwa, Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC.
If you're able to finish the train 2, chances are that you can be able to take over the 100% market without going to other places to import LPG. What that would also mean to the power sector is that you would have a lot more for the thermal generation. And so we are pleading that whatever support the authorities or government would provide to expedite the coming on stream of the train 2, we want to see it done within the next 12, maximum 24 months.
Ituabo management say the facility has the expertise, land and infrastructure to support the expansion, making phase 2 a cost-effective investment for Ghana's energy future.
And we believe that with the second plant being here, it will be best for Ghana because we have the facilities. And it will cost also less than going to a place that they will have to start afresh without the expertise and the experience. We can run the plant in parallel with that of the second plant as well, using the local expertise that we have garnered here.
Ghana Gas says engaging stakeholders is a key part of its 2025 to 2026 strategy.
They also have insight of certain operations mechanisms here. So when we sit down, we all join and put a lifeline to where Ghana Gas want to go in the next 1 year, the middle short term and the middle term.
Energy stakeholders say completing phase 2 at Ituabo will reduce gas flaring, secure domestic LPG supply, and provide long-term economic benefits for Ghana's energy sector.
There's steadily growth in adoption of solar as part of the power mix for most commercial firms, especially in the banking and telecommunications sector. This follows the enormous benefits of cutting cost and opportunity from other green initiatives being implemented by shareholders and development partners. The development was revealed by the Brew Hammond Energy Center of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology at a stakeholders workshop in Accra. There's more in this report.
The dissemination workshop was aimed at scaling up distributed solar PV adoption in Ghana with focus on the commercial sector. This is an annual meeting to discuss a report on the use of renewable energy by the Brew Hammond Energy Center of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. In a stakeholders workshop with the financial and telecom sector operators, Director Professor David Kwanzaa hinted that more commercial institutions are taking advantage of green financing to add solar into their energy mix.
What we realize is that the banks and the telco sector actors, they are all very actively pursuing green and sustainability policies. They are actively pursuing green and sustainability policies. Some of these are influenced by what their shareholders are expecting. Some of them are also influenced by what the regulator is expecting them to do. But we also realize their experiences point to the fact that they are getting some good cost savings by deploying solar technology at some of their facilities.
Deputy Director of Renewable Energy at the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition, Dr. Robert Sogbaji, disclosed plans by government to establish the Renewable Energy Authority to coordinate all activities on renewable energy across the country.
Renewable Energy Act has stated clearly that there will be established a Renewable Energy Authority. And for now, the Renewable Energy Directorate is in charge of implementing all the activities that the Renewable Energy Authority will undertake. This Renewable Energy Authority, when established, will be a one-stop shop to be responsible for all renewable energy programs, policies, and projects. And this will make sure that donor-supported funding, government funding will be directed to a particular institution. Currently, when there are challenges of renewable energy installations, such as maybe solar street lights, it is very difficult to pinpoint one institution that will be responsible for the restoration. And this has led to a decline in trust of the technologies which has to do in the renewable energy sector.
The initiative by the Brew Hammond Energy Center is supported by the Climate Compatible Growth of the UK.
Well, here's how we wrap up on business. For more business news, please log on to myjoyonline.com. I am Michelle Ejekum. Poma.
Thank you. I'll borrow your pink blazer for a date tomorrow.
No problem.
But before we go there, Tano River, once the sacred pulsating heart of Techiman, has been reduced to mud and waste, a crisis that is flooding homes, spreading disease, and severing a community from its heritage. In today's Climate Evidence, we trace how unchecked urbanization and climate change conspired to kill a lifeline and witness the defiant spark of hope as young volunteers, the city boys, work hard to save their river from destruction.
This was what the end of a lifeline looks like. Once this river carved stories into this land, it carried canoes, quenched thirst, and cradled life. Its name was whispered with respect, Tano. Today, it is a whisper of what was, a ghost of itself. I am Anas Sabit, and in the next few minutes, we will follow this river's trail from its sacred source to its shameful end to answer one urgent question. How did Techiman's beaten heart become its open wound? And is there any pulse of life left to save?
It's hard to see the state of the Tano River now. When we were young, the Tano River was revered, and going to the river was very beautiful, and it was very nice going near the place. You see, whenever you went near the Tano River, the place was very calm and serene. In those days, people could see fishes swimming in the river. They could even go and stand near the river and give the fishes bread. You know, Tano River has different types of fishes. They were colored, so everybody wanted to go and see them. But now, the river is no more there. I think the river is now a gutter.
that transformation from queen to gutter is not a natural disaster. It is a human-made crisis, and its consequences are being felt most by those who depend on the river for their very survival.
Say sunya top na ewura na haban na politics mu mi ba bia politics mu kuro po free e bogu so ya bas ana e banum wa no ma wonya ba bia enkwasa be no
ko le ntwiti adronim aha yesa nyame na e bone pa ho ba ni nyina mo kwa na ya rekoro na ade nyina say what is life and this one numa so ko ndo bende oni mi sa we si body be no titru say so to bre so ni yina so be hu sunani a. In fact, Robert also says as we are no, but you know, because any other options be answer you lose and so no.
Assemblyman for Tano River, Honorable Zakaria Mohammed, shares how the people here are suffering from this unsafe drinking water, with the community seeing a sharp rise in its typhoid, severe diarrhea illnesses, and cholera.
About 3 or 4 years ago, Tano River and its environment recorded the highest cholera outbreak during the rainy season, simply because we were resorting to the rivers, whereby when it rains, the erosion carries dirty items, indiscriminate defecation into these rivers, and this river serves as a source of water for our community members. You can imagine health-wise, it's not the best.
So what forces have conspired to turn this source of life into a source of poison? The diagnosis comes from the guardians of our environment. The primary cause is unmistakable. Area head of the Environmental Protection Agency, Osman Young, shares some key contributors to the current situation.
We are standing here on the banks of the Tano River in Techiman, but we can also see clearly that the Tano, which used to be a major river, and then taking its source from this part of the country, now is reduced to something like a seasonal stream, which is not the best. This is due to number one, encroachment from urbanization. So if you just look ahead here, about 30 meters away from where I'm currently standing, there are a lot of houses which have encroached.
You by JoyNews in partnership with CDK in Ghana, University of Ghana Center for Climate Change and Sustainability Studies, with funding from Claire R4I Opportunities Fund. That's all we have for you on our desk today. But for more news, I know a place. I highly recommend you log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Denise Apomaje. Have a lovely morning.